Hey everybody, Wayne here. In today's Let's Play, I'm going to show you some gameplay from Point Blank V is for Victory, designed by Sean Druelinger, published by Lock & Load Publishing. First off, I want to thank David Heath and Lock & Load for sending me this copy to review and show off to you guys. I've already done a recon, unboxing. We'll have here the partial playthrough, some gameplay of it, and then I will have an overview and review coming later in the week as well. This is a card-driven tactical wargame, tactical scale, squad scale style wargame, based on the rule set of Lock & Load Tactical. Although there are definitely some differences, it is a card game after all. There are a bunch of videos already out there from Lock & Load, from their designer Sean Druelinger, from Devin. They played with, I want to say, Tony from Tony's Board Life. You can watch those videos maybe for a little bit more of a full tutorial. I'm going to describe as I play, of course, and I'm just going to play part of a scenario. This is the first scenario. You have the Americans, you have the Germans, and we're trying to capture this bridge here. Now, my setup may be different than the setups you've seen before. Setups you've seen before are probably sort of the lengthwise, like tall, right? Where you have the cards actually would be kind of facing this way and then this way, right? For instance, you might have, the Americans facing this way, Germans facing this way, and they're facing towards each other, towards the middle. For my play area and for sake of my sanity, and if I can fit it all here, I'm playing it sort of sideways, the actual map game board here. But it works well. You just have to keep in mind that when you're spending units, which means you're basically tapping them, it's a trademark phrase. They can't use it, but when you're turning them, rotating them to the side, they're not facing the enemy, right? This is sort of facing the enemy. So facing is not part of the game per se, although there is some aspects of turreted vehicles, front arc, things like that. So the game board is made up of these terrain tiles in these various sectors. You can see, for instance, A0, A1, A2, etc. A1, A2 for the other side. So this would be the German side, this would be the Allied side. Then those are each sector, and then A is as an area, B is an area, C is an area. There's others. There's D and E. Again, you're only seeing this much because this is all that I really have room for, honestly, on my table. The game takes up a lot of space when you stretch it out. If you do put, you can technically use, instead of using this map, right? This is under my plexi. There's this map, which are just sort of generic map. You can use these for sectors, these little chits, right? It'd be a certain sector, and then the areas, right? So you can use the chits to sort of put them on basically be the edge of the map board. It saves a little bit of space, although the fact of the matter is that because of its cards, the way you have the cards laid out with terrain and then your units, it doesn't save a ton of space because you still need room for instance, look right here, right? You need room for the cards and the terrain, so it's still going to take up the whole sector that much space anyway. All right, again, we're playing the Bedlam Bridge scenario. Both sides are trying to capture this bridge here right in the middle. I will be playing as the Americans. I'll have the bot system playing as the Germans. I think that explains everything. We'll kind of I'll explain things as I go. Again, not a full tutorial, but you'll see some gameplay. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so the game is going to be driven, like I said, it's card driven, not just the units in the terrain, but you have a series of action cards that you're playing. The AI bot is just managed by a flowcharts, so they don't really use any of the cards. The way the card system works, it also, as you're spending the cards and reducing the actual draw pile over here, that's actually acts as the turn timer. Once all the action cards are used up, it goes to the next turn. Each turn is made up of an upkeep phase, impulse phase, and then a turn end phase. The impulse phase is where the action cards are done, although there is stuff that's carried out during the upkeep phase. Because it's the very first turn of the game, and by the way, me as the Americans, I'm going first. The upkeep phase, there's not really anything that's done. I'll explain that when we get into the next one that we have. So let's go right into the impulse phase. So conducting our actions, we get to spend our cards here. Multiple things you can do with a card. You can play it to use one of the icons on the card. These are different action icons. Game comes with the player aid, and they're also in the rulebook, of course. It explains what each one of these does. You can say discard a card to do an action that is printed on a unit. So for instance, you see our units here, airborne squad, infantry squad, and then we have a leader. There's support weapons, we have a machine gun down here. you know, with on, say, this airborne squad, you can see it has different icons. Those are those action icons, right, that allow you to do certain things. I'm not going to explain each one, but you can go ahead and download the rulebook and check them out if you want to yourself. You can discard a card to reduce fatigue on your units. Generally, everything gets fatigue from firing. Infantry get fatigue from moving as well. You can take a leader action, which you spend your leader, which is tapping it, right, rotating it to the side, to do whatever action they have on there. You can discard a card from your hand to cancel a movement, because the way movement works in this game is you assign movement to a unit, say it's going to move. It actually doesn't resolve its movement until the next upkeep phase. You can discard your whole hand once per game turn, discard, you know, to draw a whole new hand. And you can discard one card from your hand if you don't want to do the whole one. Use as many times as you want. This card drops your hand size at the end of the impulse. So, all right, let's do our actions here. So let's go ahead and assign I'm going to use the unit icon here, which is you get to go ahead and use this little like lightning bolt is unit action. So activate the action icon on a unit's card. I'm going to go ahead and spend that, and I'm going to spend it on the M4A1 tank I have down here, and I'm going to give it a move action. See, it has the move action on here. Take a movement chit, place it facing towards the sector you want to move, and there you go. Go ahead and discard that action card. I'm going to go ahead and draw back up, and that is the end of the American Impulse. This is a melee or overrun, so very nice. And that's it. Boom. That's it for my impulse. So now we go over to the Germans' turn. Again, upkeep phase, basically going to skip it because there's no upkeep that has to be done for the very first turn. We'll start covering that my next turn where we're going to resolve the moving. So now we go into the German impulse. The German bot, you go ahead and roll the 2d6, which is provided with the game. Total of 9, 3, and 6. You go ahead and look on the bunch of flowcharts and bot cards, etc. 3 and 6. What do we get again? You have a 9, so you look at 9, 3, 6, and we're in an attack posture because they are attacking offensive because they're trying to get to the bridge, right? Just like we are. So, again, what did we get? It was 3 and 6 on the 9, which is rally. Okay, so for the rally, he's not going to have anything to rally. So what'll probably happen is it'll probably tell you to go ahead and if I can find it here. Ready, rally. All right, let me go ahead and check this. All right, that's what I thought. When there is no rally unit to try to rally, it goes ahead and it just goes to the offensive and defensive posture, which remember we're in an offensive posture, but both apply. Unit, spend, or discard action. So we're going to go ahead and follow the flowchart here. Unit, spend, or discard action. Order referred from another flowchart? No. Select single AE closest to player unit. Randomly determine if multiple A. Which AEO is artificial enemy opponent, which is basically these stacks of Germans for us, against us. I'm just going to call them the bot. So select a single bot closest to the player PU, which is player unit. Again, it's randomly determined. So we look, everyone's exact same distance basically. So it's going to be here, here, or here. So I like to do ahead, just give it a roll. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be this middle stack here. That is SS squad, infantry squad, Lieutenant Werner, a leader, and then a MG42 machine gun, a support weapon. All right. Is the bot shaken? Nope, no shaken counters, so no. Do they have the assault icon? He does. So yes. Move towards the player unit and then fire if assault icon only, which they do have the assault icon, right? So he will go ahead and fire at closest player unit with firepower before ordnance. All right, so what they're going to do is an assault action. As an action allows you to fire with a penalty while also moving. So we're going to take the moving chit and put it on the stack here. We're also going to give fatigue to both infantry because infantry get fatigue from moving, vehicles do not. So we'll put 1 fatigue on each. All right, and now they're going to go ahead and try to fire at the closest American, which would be the ones right ahead of them, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 sectors away. So now we check some ranges here on our units. The infantry squad only has a range of 3. 1 firepower, range of 3. SS squad, 2 firepower, range of 2, so even shorter. None of them can reach. The machine gun can reach. So he has a firepower of 3. So we're going to go ahead and he's going to do is fire action, firing at this stack of my units. So fires basically at the entire stack at a time, with starting off 3 firepower. No bonuses again because it's just a machine gun. You can't get to add up the other firepowers because they don't have the range, right? Basically, the machine gun's the only thing that can reach that far. Now we go ahead and look at the modifiers. So firing at the modifiers I'm seeing are firing through degraded line of sight, which see this half closed eyeball, that's degraded. A closed, fully closed eyeball, which is, say this woods here is totally blocks line of sight. This just degrades it, so that's a -1. So his 3 becomes a 2. They do have their leader, and the leader has a leadership of 1, so that it goes back up to a 3. The infantry here is firing though during assault fire, so it drops from 3 back down to 1. All right, so it's 1 total actual firepower, and then what you do is you draw an action card, and you look at the die in the top corner, a 6, a 1d6. Also, he drew a 6. You're going to see if they run out of ammo, which you draw. If he draws another 6, it's not out of ammo. He did not. It's only 3, so let's put that underneath so we don't get confused. So he did really well by drawing the 6. So 6 plus the 1, right? So that's a total of 7. Now we check for defensive total. Very simple. Check for any terrain modifiers, which they're in brush, which has a 1 in the bottom corner. So starting off with a 1. Are they in cover? They're not in cover, excuse me. I don't have any cover cards that I can play. Let me see, double check. Nope, you have no cover cards I can play. Then are they concealed or spotted? They're concealed. Spotted will be, for instance, once they move, he moves, he'll become spotted. But if there's no spotted marker on them, they're considered concealed. So that is a +2 on their defense. So we have the terrain for 1, spotted is 2, that's a total of 3. And then, just like with the attacker, you draw 1d6, a 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5. He had 7 over here, so 7 minus 5. It is a positive number. The attacker was greater than the defender, so there is going to be possible hits. You take the 7, subtract 5, that's a remainder of 2. You're going to go ahead and conduct damage checks versus morale. Very simple. You go ahead and you're drawing we're drawing a card, which has a 1d6, right, for each unit, leader, and then each unit. And then we're adding 2 because that was the remainder, right? The 7 minus 5. So if you have a much stronger attack than defense, it's going to increase the number even more. All right, let's draw first. We're doing a morale check, a damage check versus morale. On Lieutenant Cray, the morale is in the blue, so 7. Oh, man. So 2 plus 6 is a total of 8. That is greater than his morale, so he will become shaken. Go ahead and draw now for the infantry squad of morale of 6. 5, 6, 7, greater than. He becomes shaken as well. Definitely not good so far. And then finally the airborne squad. 3 plus 2 is 5. His morale is 6. No effect. Less than. Equal or less than morale. No effect whatsoever. All right. That's the result of that fire. Boom. Easy peasy. All right, that wraps up, let's see, and then also for the AI, the bot, when they do their impulse, because they're not drawing cards, you don't have a hand of cards, you automatically discard 1 card during their impulse, just to show that, kind of cycling through the deck, because remember the action card deck controls when the turn is over. All right, I think that's it. They don't have to draw up to the hand size, because only us, so we're going to go ahead and flip around, and it'll be now the upkeep phase for myself. All right, upkeep phase for the Americans here. So first off, you resolve melee and overrun attacks. We don't have any melee or overrun happening, so skip that. You resolve terrain placement, which as part of that is resolve movement or terrain into empty, refuse terrain or removal. So what do I mean by that? We're resolving this movement. Remember we said that tank was moving last impulse? Well, now it's going to finish its movement. So the M4A1 is moving into C3. You're going to go ahead and flip that moving marker over to spotted, and now you're going to draw for terrain. I don't have any terrain in my hand I can play, so we're just going to draw a blind from the deck. Road. Good news. I'd rather definitely have a road over some of the negative ones. So let's go ahead and get placed, and then go ahead and place that spotted marker on the road just to show that any units in here are going to be spotted. So, and that was it for resolving the movement. Again, very simple. Ready, spent leaders. We didn't spend our leader last turn, although we're probably going to do this turn. You can button or unbutton your AFVs, armored fighting vehicles. We're not going to worry about that. Transfer support weapons, not going to worry about that. Combined half squads, there are none. boom, let's go into the impulse. So impulse phase. So now we have our hand of cards. We definitely have a couple things we want to do here. Let's first off, let's go ahead as the leader. Yeah, we want to try to rally here. Let's do have a rally card. I have a rally and a, oh, okay, I see. So let's try that. So let's do a leader action first. So we're going to go ahead and spend Lieutenant Cray, and he's going to attempt to rally. So he is trying to rally and remove that shaken card from himself. So what you do, pretty simple. Look at his morale. Now you go ahead and draw a 2d6, a 1, and a 5. So total is 6, modified if the terrain was negative, modified by a good order leader. He's shaken, so he's not good order. Good order would basically be not shaken, right? So 6 is less than his morale, equal to or less than his morale. So we're going to go ahead and remove the shaken marker from Lieutenant Cray. Fabulous. Very nice, very nice. All right, now let's go ahead and we'll do yeah, like I said, let's go ahead and spend this action card that has 2 action icons. You can do both, and you can do them in any order you want. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to do the ready first. I'm going to go ahead and ready Lieutenant Cray. And then I'm going to do the rally, which when you rally a rally card, you can rally the entire sector. It's still just 1, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and attempt to rally the infantry here. Just like before, we'll draw a 2d6, so a 1 and a 3. That's a total of 4. Because our Lieutenant Cray is ready, he would add his 1, but no need, doesn't worry. It's less than the 6, the blue, right? That's the morale. Therefore, he is rallied and no longer shaken either. All right, so we spend cards, right? So we just head down to 4, so we draw back up to 5, and then we, oh, and that was a terrain card somehow got in the, I just drew, I don't even know what I just did. Drew from the action deck, so I'll draw an action card. Yep, can't draw a terrain card there. And that is, that's it for Allies Impulse. So now we go over to the upkeep phase for the Germans. All right, it's the upkeep phase for the bot here for the Germans. So resolve melee and overrun, there are none. Resolve terrain placement and movement. Aha, there is movement here. So just like before, we're going ahead and move everybody into this sector. Flip that movement icon or counter over to spotted, and draw a terrain randomly. Stone wall, good for them, bad for me. That's good protection. We'll go ahead and place the spotted counter on there. Show all these units are spotted. Okay, resolve that movement. Blazing terrain, morale, nope. Spent leaders, he's not spent. No AVF stuff, no transfer, and no combine. We are good to go. So let's get into the impulse for the Germans. Before I forget, let's go ahead and just discard that action card. Remember, we draw, or excuse me, roll, and we check the handy-dandy little charts we have. So the total of 11, which 11, when you are attack posture, is assault, and acquire a cover. Oh, nice for them. So there's these covers, and basically what they'll get is they're going to go to hang on instead of right there. Basically, that shows that when the AI is shot at from fire, they get to, will probably, usually, we'll go ahead and spend a cover to give them that +2 on their defense. And also an assault action, so which is good for them, which is probably, from looking at it, it's going to be them firing at me and then moving again. So it's probably going to be what just happens here. So let's go ahead and, where'd it go? I know there was on here. So actually, yeah, so when they do an assault, it basically is a move and fire. So you select who's going to move, which it's going to be them. Now we can go ahead and look. So I'll show you guys. I kind of know how it's going to play because I play the game a bunch now. So I know exactly what's going to happen. But let me go ahead and find the offensive posture move. That's not it. Where'd it go? Occasionally it can be a pain to try to find the correct card, as I'm literally struggling to find offensive posture move. There it is. All right, so it'd be move action. Select bot sector least fatigued, closest to, oh, least fatigued. Okay, so they're not going to move him yet. All right, that's fair. I'm glad I checked then. So the least fatigued that's closest would be either him or him. So let's go ahead and roll. So let's do odds and evens. Odds. So it's going to be this infantry squad here. Any bot, and is he shaken? No. Is there a transport he can load into? No. Any empty transports? No. Does the bot control the victory objective? No. That's the bridge. Is the bot adjacent to a player unit? No. Is the bot in the same area? Which, remember, areas like A, B, C. No. Are all victory objectives controlled by the bot? No. Oh, sorry. This is from here. Conduct sideways move to area containing victory objective. So, Symmetry Squad is going to be moving here into area B. Let's go ahead and give him a moving, and we'll give him a fatigue, because remember, it is very tiring for infantry to move across from sector to sector. Boom, that's it. It's done for the impulse. So now we go over to the upkeep phase for the Americans. All right, American upkeep phase. Basically, there's nothing to resolve, nothing to take care of, so we're going to go ahead and skip through that. Go to the impulse phase, play one of our action cards, discard a card, whatever we want to do. Let's see, we want to get to the objective, but we also understand that, they may beat us there here at this point. That's okay. That's okay. We want to move up our men here, though. So let's go ahead and I want to get that machine gun moved up, I think. 1, 2, 3. Yes, let's do that. So let's go ahead and spend this unit action on our infantry squad here. Gets to use one of his unit actions. We're going to go ahead and do the movement action. So go ahead and assign him a movement icon. We're moving into sector C1, and he gets 1 fatigue for the future move. Draw back up, and that's it. On to the German upkeep phase. All right, for the Germans, the only thing they're going to have during upkeep phase is go ahead and resolve this move here. So the infantry squad goes ahead and moves into this sector. Now there's already clear terrain here because when he moved through, or started there, I believe. So no worries there, although he is spotted, of course. He stays right there. All right, on to the impulse. Let's go ahead and discard an action card. Let's go ahead and roll. 4, 1, and 3. So 4, 1, and 3 pips over on attack, fire, and a recon. So let's go ahead and do the fire, and then do the recon. We'll do the fire, and then we'll do the recon. All right, so we'll go ahead and select your, whether you can fire action. You basically see fire action, select bot. It's going to be, first you look at him. He's closest. Can he fire? 1, 2, 3. Yes, he would be able to fire because the range is enough for, well, it's enough for a couple of units, 1 unit and the machine gun. So yes, he's able to fire. Multiple bot in sector. Yes. Form fire group with infantry. Boom. And you go ahead and fire. And then we'll do the recon action next. So he's going to go ahead and fire. Now fire does cause fatigue, remember. So 2 fatigue, 2 fatigue. Oops, and I think I forgot the fatigue on the no, leaders don't get fatigued. That's right. I don't think leaders get fatigued. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. All right, anyway, yeah, that's right. They don't get fatigued. They get shaken. Okay, but they're firing over here. So we go ahead and look who can hit. SS squad can't, only a range of 2. 1, 2. Nope. However, this infantry squad can, along with his machine gun. So they're going to combine their firepower, 3 and 4, or 3 and 1, excuse me, becomes 4. Just like before, kind of look at the firepower total, right? So we have 4 to start off with. Now, they're firing through a degraded line of sight. So that is -1. So that 4 becomes a 3. They have a leader who's in good order. So that goes back to 4. And then it's not during assault or anything like that. It's just a 4. So it's a straight 4. So pretty good for them to have a 4 for firepower. Let's go ahead and look at our defense. So we have 1 because of our terrain. Cover, we have no cover available. We are still concealed though, so that's 3 plus the 1d6. So let's go ahead and draw for each of us. So he had 4 plus 5, 9. Ooh. And us Americans had 1, 2, 3 for being concealed. 3 plus 5, 8. Okay, so only 1 over. So they have 9, we have 8. So they do have a potential hit because it's greater than. So we have to roll for each of them, or draw for each of them, excuse me. However, they only have a +1 on these draws. So Let's do our damage morale checks here against Lieutenant Cray. So with a +1, 4 + 1 is 5. That is equal or less than his morale, so he's totally fine. 4 + 1 is 5. That is equal or less than the infantry squad's morale, so he's fine. And finally, the airborne squad, 4 + 1, 5, equal or less than his morale. He is totally fine. Wasted fire combat from the Germans. Now, we're going to go ahead and do the recon, which there's a chart for it. Here you go, offensive posture recon. Recon action, available player unit to spot. Yes, it's going to be within line of sight closest, which is going to be him, because he's the closest. So right, so you're going to attempt to spot, a spot attempt of him. So the spot attempt, I'm going to go ahead and have to double check where I have that on my, oh, there it is. I'll have to double check how to conduct that. Forgot. All right, what we do is we draw a card, and it has to be 3 or less, minus the leadership, if that's the who's trying to do spotting, which they are. They have a 1, so we -1 on whatever this is. A 4, which would not have worked, but it was a -1, he reached a 3, so they are spotted. So go ahead and put that spot marker on the brush terrain here to show that these units are spotted, no longer concealed. Okay, that is it for the German Impulse. I'm thinking, yep, I believe that's it. Yep, they conducted their the 2 actions that were made available to them that they're going to do. So we go ahead and move on over to the our upkeep phase. All right, the main thing we have for upkeep phase is to resolve the movement here. So remember, we're moving our infantry squad. That spotted, and then we're going to go ahead and draw a terrain, clear terrain. Not good for us because there's no concealment. And put the spotted on there to show. There we are. Okay. Now onto our impulse phase. You know, what could we want to do? We can, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, he can shoot now. Try to shoot that infantry squad right there. Might be a good idea. What do we got? Oh, we got a sniper action. We could try that. Kind of an interesting, sniper action is an interesting one. It's kind of a unique, there's no sniper units. Instead, it's a specific sort of sniper attack that's conducted. You pick a unit and target it. In fact, let's go ahead and do that actually. All right, Americans here, we're gonna go ahead and conduct a sniper attack on this stack right here. Basically, it's gonna be randomly target one of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, so it is targeting the leader. So I do a 2d6 fire attack against them. So 6 and 4, 10. That's pretty good. Then we look for their defensive modifier. The terrain is 2. They're they're going to use their cover as well because the attack is greater than. So I'll add +2. So 2, 4, and then whatever their d6 is. A 1, only a 5. A 5 versus my 10. So 5, that is definitely a hit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just set it right there. So 5, basically like 5 firepower gets through. And Lieutenant Werner is going to make his morale check against a 5. He got a 1. 1, which is, and then what was the remainder? Was 5. His morale check was, yeah, +5. Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, 5 plus the 1, which is good for him because it was equal or less than his morale. So actually, no effect. Okay, I confused myself for a second. Sorry, guys. I know I've resolved about 100 of these fire attacks, but somehow it threw me out for a second. I think snipers fairly rare in the game. You don't get a whole lot of them. So anyway, that was it. So use our sniper for waste. We'll draw back up to 5, and that'll be it for American Impulse. Over to the German upkeeps. All right, time for the German upkeep phase. Nothing they're going to do during upkeep here. I did realize that as I'm looking, I'm like, oh crap, I haven't been using. So Lieutenant Werner, their leader, every turn a leader can turn and activate and do one of their actions, and because they get to come back, right? They get to unspend or whatever. So I should have been using him to reduce fatigue, because that's something he can do. He can reduce fatigue on his units, but so he'll be doing that here going forward. So anyway, nothing for the upkeep. So let's go to the impulse phase. So we'll go ahead and discard a card. And we're going to go ahead and do the Lieutenant Werner. He's going to go ahead and spend to reduce fatigue, and go ahead and reduce fatigue on this SS squad from 2 to 1. So, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and roll to see what else they do. 7. Check our chart. A 2 and a 5. 7, 2 and 5. Melee or overrun. They're not going to be able to do any melee or overrun. So I believe, I'm trying to find it. I think it says, yeah. So basically, melee overrun. AEO units adjacent to player unit. No. Unit spend or discard. So they're going to go to the unit spend or discard chart. Orders referred from other flowchart. Yes. Spend selected AEO from previous chart, which would have been these because they're the closest. So they will spend. Remember, spend is turning to the side like this. Are they shaken? No. Do they have the assault icon? Yes, they do, actually. Hang on. Yes, they do. Move towards PU. Obviously, you can't move because they're spent. Fire if assault. Actually, I guess that's part of the move, huh? So he will go ahead and move. So he's spent, but he's going to go ahead and do a move. Then moving a fire, I guess. All right, I guess we'll do that. Seems a little weird, but okay. So they're going to move that way, and then obviously they're going to fire. So try to move onto the bridge, and they're going to fire at my men over here. So because they are moving, so it's going to be a -2 to them on their fire. And then fire is obviously a fatigue, so he goes back up to 2, and then the infantry squad here becomes shaken. All right, go ahead and fire. Fire at him. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So he can't hit. He can though. The infantry squad. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So total 4 firepower. 4 firepower plus. Let's see. Well, 4 through a degraded line of sight, so that drops it to 3. Leadership is 1, so it goes back up to 4. And then they're doing an assault basically because they're moving as well, so that drops down to 2. So 2 plus 5, so 7 for them, not bad. As for my defenders, the terrain is a 1, no cover, no concealment anymore. Remember they got spotted, so just the 1d6, so a total of 3. So they have, what is it? They have 6 and I have 3. So yep, so 3 remainder. So they are greater than, so they are going to get damage checks against me. So 3 on the damage check. So plus 3, Lieutenant Cray against his morale. 3 plus 3 is 6, equal to or less than morale. He's fine. 3 plus 3 is 6, equal to or less than infantry squad's morale. He's fine. And the airborne squad, 1 plus 3, 4, equal or less than a 6. He is also fine. Wasted attack for them. I think that was it, right? They just had the, yep, because they didn't move, and then, yep, that's exactly it. So, all right, so that's it for the Germans. So over to the Americans. All right, American upkeep phase. Nothing, looks like there's nothing resolved. No one to flip back and nothing like that. Okay, so on to the impulse. For action, let's go ahead and play this unit action and a, actually that's a ready, isn't it? Well, yeah, we can, I guess we can do that. So might as well, we're gonna give a move order to tank here to move him into the woods here. And then the ready, go ahead and remove this fatigue off our infantry squad here. All right, and then draw back up. And there you go, end of our impulse. Over to the Germans. All right, Germans, upkeep phase, all they're doing, resolving their movement here, which, I don't even know if I gave them a fatigue for the move. I don't know. They're spotted, and then they will move over here. Oh, they're still spent, except for the leader. He does flip up, so. All right, there we go. Kind of a mess right now going on there, but it is what it is. Everything is spotted there. Let's see, and then this terrain technically is not adjacent to anybody. No, he is adjacent to him right there. Never mind. I'm trying to look. I think everything's good on that. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what the Germans will do. 4, 5, 6, 2 and 4. Assault, doing assault, yeah. So it's gonna be, let's see here. The assault will be move and fire, right? Movement, it's gonna be select bot sector least fatigue closest to victory objective. So will be, let's see, least fatigued closest to victory. So he has 2, he has 1. I think it's gonna be then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's gonna be him. This is gonna move him here. I think we need to get. I'm gonna say that it's him because he needs to be there anyway for them to control it. So technically control it. So he's gonna go ahead and move. And I'm kind of taking over a little bit on that. Make it a call. I know you're supposed to follow what the bot says, but that's what I'm doing. All right, and then we have a fire action, which he can't really fire. I think we'll try fire with the infantry squad here. 2, 3, yeah, he's gonna go ahead and try to fire. So he gets a fatigue, because otherwise these guys, they can't, they're all spent and stuff. He's not gonna try firing. And then he is blocked by line of sight. He's too far away, line of sight. Actually, he does have a straight shot, doesn't he? But he's not gonna. This one's gonna fire. Okay, all right. So infantry squad, 1, 2, 3. It'll be infantry and then ordnance. So infantry first with his firepower, 1, 2, 3. So it's in range. He has a firepower of 1. Any moving? No. Range, line of sight? No. Looks like everything's just going to be 1. So he'll have 1 firepower. So 2, so total 3. And then defense over here. No terrain mods, no cover, no concealed. So it's just 1d6. So 3 versus 2. So he's greater than. So we draw for it with a +1. 5 equal less than morale. No worries there. All right, and then there's something else too, right? What was he gonna do? We have the move, we have the fire. Oh, his ordnance fires as well. So now he gets the ordnance fire. So he's firing his basically the bazooka, the equivalent, right? The German equivalent of bazooka towards the infantry squad right here. So I don't think he can see. Yeah, can't see the tank because he's blocked by the wood. So you go ahead and fire 1, 2, 3. Yep, which will be the yellow. So 7, 5. So firing the ordnance here. We have to see the 2 hit number, which adjusted by, so he's firing at melee, no. Through line of sight, through degraded, no. I think that's just target's terrain is 0, so really it's just whatever it is. So you need to go ahead, and what you do is you do 2d6 and compare it to the 7, and you want to get less than, which 6, less than 7. Yep, so you're going to go ahead, and he is going to get to do basically a fire, like a attack. So what they do is you do the black number is equivalent of HE 3 plus 1d6. So 3 is 5, 8, and then defense is just a 1d6. So 8 versus 4. There's a remainder of 4. So we'll do a damage check plus 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 is greater than the 6 morale, so he becomes shaken. So he did get shaken by that freaking German bazooka. Damn Germans. All right. I think that's it. I'm going to wrap that up there. So I know you're probably like, well, it's not done yet. Hey, that's okay. There's plenty of other playthroughs, videos you guys to watch. I just wanted you guys to see the game in action for a while. See me conducting some actions, some combats. You got to see fire. You didn't see any melee, but fairly simple. There's other videos that cover it. Germans beat me to the bridge. Doesn't mean it's over yet. I still got my tank. Well, they have theirs as well. I have my leader, infantry here. Iffy here, especially with my machine gun getting shaken, so I'd probably try to recover him next. I still want to keep that tank and him moved up so he can start firing. Once that tank starts firing at infantry, he gets all those firepowers fired together, basically. So it's, well, not together, but at once. So you can start unleashing some damage on him. So anyway, that is Point Blank V is for Victory. Hope you enjoyed this view of gameplay. Hopefully it was educational. Hopefully it was fun to watch. I had some fun playing it. I will have an overview and review coming up a little bit later in the week. So until next time, guys, later.